Hi everyone, in this video I am going to walk you through my co-taught lesson plan. So this is a lesson plan on narrative writing, so it's a creative writing unit, and they are specifically working towards a summative assessment where they will be writing a creative nonfiction piece, so something that's based on reality. They'll be able to present that final project either as a written 3 to 5 pages, or if they struggle with sitting down and writing something that long, they could also present it as like a recording, a podcast, or a video. So this lesson specifically is on sensory language and character development. So their learning targets are: I can develop my main character's personality using dialogue, description, and the plot. I can create a vivid story using sensory language. And I can begin writing my creative nonfiction story based on a personal experience. All of those learning targets are rooted in the standards, which you can find in my lesson plan. So what does today look like? First, they will start with an entry ticket. The entry ticket is a journal prompt where as soon as they walk in the room, they're going to write for 3 minutes, just describing in as much detail as possible what it feels like to be in class. So that means describing the room, what it looks like, what it feels like, what they're thinking, those kinds of things. Next, the teachers are going to just explain the stations, and I will go more in depth on what each of the stations are in just a moment. So then they will jump right into the stations. There are 2 stations. The stations will take about 15 minutes each, with the class rounding out after that with independent writing and conferences. Finally, the students will complete an exit ticket before they leave, in which they will just simply answer a Google form that asks them what their idea is for their story, what they enjoyed about today's class, the things that they really clicked with, understood, and then anything that they still feel like they might need a little bit of work with. Okay, so station 1. These stations are happening simultaneously, so the content area teacher is at a station working on character development. The stations have 10 students each. So in the character development station, the content area teacher is going to explain how characters are developed with descriptive writing, that it's not just their appearance, it can be their personality, their background, their emotions, and the teacher will do this by using a mentor text from the room or pulling an example of a character. For example, Katniss Everdeen. Her character is developed over the course of 3 books, but you have to have a pretty good idea of who her character is right at the beginning, or the book isn't going to make any sense. So the author did that by telling you her appearance, her opinions on the current state of Panem, her love for her family, her personal interests. All of those things help you understand the character in your book and are achieved through descriptive writing. So then your students will discuss how understanding your character applies to dialogue, and that will be rounded out with an activity where the teacher will ask something like, your character is 17. How would they respond to a friend saying, hey, tonight after dark, let's go to the train tracks? Students will write what they think, but then the teacher will mix it up and say, your character is a female and a straight-A student. How does that change your response? So then they'll decide what they think, and then you can just keep mixing it up and say, maybe they're cracking under the pressure of school. Maybe their parents aren't getting along. How does that change your answer? To really get them thinking about how a character's experience and relationships and personality dictate their dialogue. Okay, station 2 is the co-teacher. They will be explicitly teaching the 7 types of imagery: visual, auditory, olfactory, gustatory, tactile, kinesthetic, and organic. And then for each of those, the teacher will be providing an example. And then the students will be working individually or in pairs to create as many examples for each type of imagery as possible until time's up. This is about at-bats, students getting used to using very descriptive language, sensory language of every kind. And then the lesson ends with independent brainstorming and writing time. So the students are going to work on their creative nonfiction pieces. They can be brainstorming ideas, trying to come up with what they're going to be writing about, practicing the techniques they discussed today. They could be, just working more on imagery. They could be working on dialogue. They could be working on building a backstory for their character. And then during that time, both teachers will be conferencing with every student so that all students get a chance to decompress, ask questions, and get some feedback. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great rest of the semester, guys.